Good Thursday morning to you. This is Pastor Mark Pierce from Church Requel, back with Bible study number 118 on this Thursday, April the 30th. Yep, we're going to get one more in here before April is done. Today, we want to talk about the credibility gap. Once again, I am here on this beautiful spring day at the reservoir just south of my home. Just a beautiful location, very peaceful at the moment. In just another month or so, there will be boats and lots of fishing going on and lots of camping nearby, lots of picnicking. We live in just one of the most beautiful places in the world 3 months out of the year. Let's take our Bibles and turn to Matthew chapter 5, verse 33, and we'll read what Jesus has to say to us today. Again, you have heard that it was said to those of old, "You shall not swear falsely, but shall perform to the Lord what you have sworn." But I say to you, do not take an oath at all, either by heaven, for it is the throne of God, or by the earth, for it is his footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great King. And do not take an oath by your head, for you cannot make one hair white or black. Let what you say be simply yes or no. Anything more than this comes from evil, or from the evil one. Excuse me, I'm just going to put my Bible down. And that way, hopefully I won't have the problem that I had yesterday in dropping my notes right in the middle of the little Bible study. Well, today we want to take a look at this idea of the credibility gap. Yesterday we considered the history of swearing an oath by using the name of God, and today we want to hear what Jesus' solution is. You might recall from yesterday that we talked about a kind of oath that was called evasive swearing. This would be where the Jewish people divided their oaths into two classes. In the one hand, there was the oath that contained the name of God, and that was an absolutely binding oath because it had the idea that God was a partner in that transaction. On the other hand, there was the oath without a specific reference to God. This would be an oath by heaven or by earth or by Jerusalem. And the idea would be that someone, if they didn't specifically reference God, well, if they break the oath, God has not been a part of that transaction. Well, Jesus, of course, his idea is, hey, let's just not take an oath at all. I mean, Jesus goes in a whole new direction here. He says, hey, let's not take any side games on this idea of fake names for God. You think you might want to swear by heaven? Don't you know that heaven is God's throne? And you think you can swear by God's throne? Or don't even swear by earth, because earth, according to Isaiah 66:1, earth is God's footstool. It's where he props up his feet. He says, don't even swear by Jerusalem, because Jerusalem, according to Psalm 48:1, is the city of the great King. In fact, to give some idea of just how serious Jesus is about this, and also, I think, to add a little bit of levity to his talk, I have a feeling guys laughed when they heard this. He says, don't even swear by the hairs on your head, because you can't control whether some of them are black or whether some of them are white. Just for men, notwithstanding. Jesus is saying here that in the kingdom of God, there is no need for swearing an oath. You see, the standard in God's kingdom is the simple truth. That when someone says something, what they say is what they mean. And if they say they're going to do something, they're going to do it. Really, this is simply an affirmation of Old Testament teaching. Truth has no shades. Truth has no degrees. A whole truth is truth. A half-truth is a whole lie. There is no such thing as white lies. All white lies are black. There is no other standard but the truth. Consider these verses from the Old Testament. Psalm 51:6. God desires truth in the innermost being. Proverbs chapter 6, verses 16 and 17. God especially hates a lying tongue. Or this from Proverbs 12:22. Lying lips are an abomination to the Lord. Or this from Psalm 58:3 and 4. Those who speak lies go astray from birth. They have venom like the venom of a serpent. So you get the idea that Jesus is really affirming the truth of the Old Testament. Let your yes be yes, and let your no be no. William Barclay writes in his commentary about a great eternal truth. He says this: life cannot be divided into compartments, in some of which God is involved, and in others of which he is not involved. There cannot be one kind of language in the church and another kind of language in the shipyard or in the factory or in the office. There cannot be one kind of standard of conduct in the church and yet another kind of standard of conduct in the business world. The fact is that God does not need to be invited into certain compartments or departments of life and then kept out of others. He is everywhere, all through life and in every activity of life. He hears not only the words which are spoken in his name, he hears all words. And there cannot be any such thing as a form or words which evades bringing God into the transaction. We will regard all promises as sacred if we remember that all promises are made in the presence of God. Jesus has a very simple way of putting it. Let your yes be yes, and let your no be no. So, this raises a question for us in our modern day. What about taking an oath in court? What do I do there? Well, to hear the answer to that, you're going to have to tune in tomorrow morning on Friday, May the 1st, and we'll take a look at the topic of taking an oath. Thanks for joining us, and I look forward to talking to you again tomorrow.